Hello, everybody. My name is Ofri Cohen. I'm the CEO and co-founder of WhiteBox, and welcome to the webinar from SEO to AI search. This webinar is an intro for the GEO course we will have, and with me today is Elad Hefetz, the CEO of Airfleet. So again, thank you all for joining our webinar. And let's see what we will talk about. So first of all, we'll give you like a quick demo about the user experience and how you can like evaluate where your brand stays right now in that field, and Elad will make through the difference between SEO and GEO in a quick demo. Then we will give you like a brief background about the user behavior, and we will talk about the course syllabus, and in the end we will give you like a little taste about 4 steps that for self GEO generative engine optimization strategy that you can already implement in your brand today. So Elad, please go ahead.
Hi everyone, Elad from Airfleet here. We focus on creating and optimizing revenue-generating websites for tech B2B. And for the last year, I think one of the biggest questions we get from clients with regarding to SEO is how do I get my brand to appear in ChatGPT, or what we now call GEO, LLMO, you name it. When we talked about this webinar, Orit had an idea. She said, everyone knows SEO. Why don't we just explain GEO in terms of the ways we do SEO? And this is a great idea. If you try to compare GEO to SEO, you'll figure that it's not quite the same. Yes, using SEO practices will help us gain more traction and brand mentions in ChatGPT or any GenAI platforms, but that's not enough. We can't just assume that we'll just continue to do what we were doing all of the time for SEO and just magically also appear in ChatGPT. The thing is that there are a few core aspects when it comes to appearing on ChatGPT. Now, Ofri is going to explore some of them. What I want to show you now is how do we take SEO concepts and apply them on GEO or GenAI optimization. Now, let's assume I'm working at an ITSM company and I want to optimize for ITSM software related keywords. I want people that are searching for ITSM software to find me. I want them to find me on Google. I want them to find me on ChatGPT. I want them to find me everywhere, obviously. For SEO, the standard process would start with keyword research. So I'm not going to go over how to do keyword research. Let's assume you know that. If you don't, your SEO expert would know that. Now, you got to this list of seed keywords, right? Their volume, how relevant are they for your business, their intent level, is people actually trying to buy stuff or just searching for education and stuff like that. And let's pick the ITSM software. This is very relevant, it's high intent. So first thing I would do after doing the keyword research, at least the seed one, is to start understanding what's currently ranking for them. And again, this is SEO, this is not GEO yet, so stay tuned. First thing I find when I'm searching in SEMrush is the AA overviews, of course, which is a big thing now, also finally here in Israel. And we can see that Gartner is the first one. And then we can see a few players, Atlassian and SolarWinds, even Zlo is kind of in the same space, bit different, but still in the space, ServiceNow, etc., right? So a lot of vendors are competing. And then we have the people also asked. We'll get to that in a minute. When doing keyword research, we take all of this information, the volume, the amount, the possibility and the complexity, and based on that, we decide to which keywords do we want to optimize for. Now, the issue with that is we don't have prompt research tools in ChatGPT. We don't know how many people are prompting for a specific prompt or question. But what we can assume we can assume that they are using the same keywords and the same queries they use on Google and extrapolate that in ChatGPT, right? So here's a simple prompt I've used. It's not really a great one, but it can do the work. Ideally, iterate on that, but this is just for the sake of this demo. I inputted the same keywords, the same keyword research, and I asked ChatGPT to provide me with some relevant prompts. Now, ChatGPT provided me with some relevant prompts, which IT service management software is best for enterprise use, the probability someone will ask it, and the intent type. So very nice prompt to use. Let's take one of those and do the following. What I want to do is first search it in Google. Okay, see what comes up. Okay, best IT service management software. So after the sponsored, of course, which by the way, we don't have in ChatGPT, the AI overviews, and actually the first ranking after Gartner is discussions and forums, which is interesting, and then a listicle for the CTO club. Okay, and only here we see the first ITSM vendor. Before we jump into that, I just want to mention that this is not the full way of doing prompt research, because obviously what you would like to do is check also what's happening in social groups, in Reddits, make sure that you interview your clients, ask them how they do the prompting, or at least ask them, a few folks how they're doing that, and based on that try and come up with the relevant prompts. Now once we do have the relevant prompt, we can use ChatGPT to prompt and see what we get. So I'm going to do it in incognito to avoid any context or anything like that. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT, what was the query here? This is a very specific query, okay? Top ITSM tools with asset management integration, okay? Very specific one. And obviously I get ServiceNow, BMC, like a few relevant vendors, right? Now, I want to do something else. I want to show you what happens now. I'm going to open a VPN and connect to, let's say, I don't know, the US, right? I'm now based in Israel. I'm going to connect to US. Fine, connect, that's fine. Okay, hopefully I didn't get disconnected and you're still with me. I'm going to open a new incognito window and do the same query. Okay, I'll go to ChatGPT and I'm going to ask the same query exactly. Okay, now while ServiceNow and BMC was before, we have Cherwell ITSM and we have Ivati at number 4. So you can see that only by changing my location, I got very different results, all these different results. Now this is very important because if you are targeting the US and you are doing prompting from Israel, that doesn't make any sense. You'll get different results than your potential customers. And now I'm going to ask ChatGPT, what's the best cloud security platform? Okay, I'm giving this example because everyone knows Wiz, but if you're searching for what's the best cloud security platform, you get Palo Alto, Microsoft Defender, Checkpoint, Trend Micro, Cisco, blah, blah, blah. I can't even find Wiz, right? If I go back to SEMrush and I'm searching for cloud security platform, so it's funny, Wiz is number 1. This is very interesting, right? Cloud security platform in Google will get you Wiz as the first results after the AI overviews. But searching in ChatGPT, I'm getting very different results. Very, very different results. Now, let me show you something in addition. I'm going to ask ChatGPT here, okay? Let's grab that, start a new chat. I'm logged in here, right? So again, very different results, right? Palo Alto is number 1, but Wiz is number 2. What we can do is we can actually enable the search option, and I'm going to ask the same. And while we are getting the same results, or similar results, now I see something one. When I enable the search results, and sometimes ChatGPT will do it regardless, and will give you some references for the information. Now, I enable the search results, but sometimes in ChatGPT you'll get it anyway. You can see where or what influenced the results for these top cloud security platforms in 2025. So you can see it's not even the Palo Alto website that actually influenced it. It's clouddefense.ai or Cloud Neuro or obviously Gartner, right? So best cloud security native blog post by Gartner, so review by Gartner, TechRadar, a lot of third parties. None of these are the vendor websites themselves, right? If I'm going to ask, compare with features to CrowdStrike, with or without a search, right? Then obviously ChatGPT is going to crawl the websites by Wiz and CrowdStrike, get their information, features, and stuff like that. And this is much more on-site related optimization. What does it tell us? What does it tell us? That we get different results from different locations, very different results from Google than ChatGPT. It means a few things. Third-party sources have much bigger influence than our on-site content. If you think about backlinks in SEO, the equivalent thing will be mentions in ChatGPT. ChatGPT wants to see your brand around the internet to understand it's relevant to a specific prompt. ChatGPT search social, unlike Google. So it's also very important that you use optimization in social networks. It uses review website. It also uses big industry known publications like Gartner or TechRadar or CIO, whatever. So this is the third party aspect of making ChatGPT to rank you above some other brands. The next thing you want to do is to increase the sentiment for your brand. You want to increase the availability of knowledge about your features and pricing and some much more bottom of the funnel, higher intent questions that people might ask ChatGPT about your product versus other. Think about comparison information and stuff like that. But the thing is that you can't just optimize once for ChatGPT. You need to constantly, like you do with SEO, you need to constantly optimize for that. We actually created a very interesting video about analyzing LLM traffic currently going to your website. But if you think about the impact, most people will not just search for top cloud security platforms and then click on Gartner. They are going to then take the brand name like Wiz and Google it. So if you did good in GEO, you will actually see the results not just in LLM traffic, you'll see the result as brand traffic. Ofri gave me some interesting insight. Just multiply your LLM traffic by 1,000, and this should be your impressions in ChatGPT as a ballpark number, right? So for every 1,000 people that will see your brand, only one of them will actually click on a citation or something that will refer them to your website. We are going to also create, and we're going to go over that in the course, we are going to create some information about how can you understand when ChatGPT visits your website, what type of content it creates, and also what's the basic infrastructure for optimizing for LLMs. How can we make sure that ChatGPT actually crawls our website and have a positive sentiment about our brand and the content? How can we help ChatGPT with JSON schemes, with structuring the content properly, and even how to use AI to generate content that is more suitable for ChatGPT from our existing content? All of that we're going to review in the course. I'm going to go over the full process end to end about optimizing for ChatGPT, optimizing your website for ChatGPT, and then how do we address third-party sources to optimize for that. Now back to you, Ofri.
So thank you guys, and let's speak about what happens today. So the way people search over the internet is an ongoing revolution. We all feel that already. So we used to use Google for as a terminal to move to websites. So we wrote keywords, a few keywords, and it was just the way to get to your content. And we almost all of us already using daily basis ChatGPT and the other tools, and it's different behavior, right? We are writing a prompt. It's more like precise, more words, and etc. And we get the answer directly. We don't need another step of research. And if we're gonna talk about numbers, so ChatGPT right now have like more than 1 billion weekly active users. The user engagement is like 5 times more than in Google. And if Google is very promoted and sponsored and social is very targeted, ChatGPT, people consult with ChatGPT. They think it's very objective. And right now, ChatGPT and the other tools are only 2% from the global search, and obviously Google still is the dominant, but according to Gartner, until 2028 it will be 50%. So I think the trend is very known. So let's talk about the market share, just to understand what people looking at. And I know in the Israeli and in America also, it's like we are very progress and we know tools like Claude and Perplexity, but in general we can see in that graph that something between 55 to 85% of the usage of GenAI search is based on ChatGPT, and obviously on right now it's model 4.0, but the model that relevant for the free and the plus users. And Gemini it's like 4%, Perplexity and Claude it's something between 2 to 3. So obviously you should focus on ChatGPT right now. And the problem that CMOs today lack of visibility between the interaction between their leads and the brands and what the chat answers about their brand. So they're not controlling the narrative. Brands have reputational risk and they already missing opportunities. And I think one of the most important things that I will speak on the course and also on that webinar is about that fact that 90% of the sources that ChatGPT quote when he gives the answer is external sources, I mean off-site sources for us. It's articles, it's platform reviews, it's forums and etc. affiliates. And marketeers that already that use to optimize their content on their website, it's barely doing nothing because ChatGPT looking about objective source, and obviously you can test it in your brand. The second thing is traditional SEO also not so effective because it's different algorithm, but for the search function that is very important. If you want a little bit to use SEO to optimize GenAI search, you need to optimize Bing and not Google. But again, it's almost like 2% of the cases. And obviously we know it's evolving market, and it's like there is new models every day and the same prompt that we ask on the same model 2 months ago and now will give different answer, so company can't understand what a chat said about them over time. And I think another very interesting fact is we moved from one to many. If we would optimize SEO for a specific keywords for global search or global SERP, in GEO, generative engine optimization, it's a little bit different because the chat is very sensitive for location, for language, and etc. So I mean, same prompt in Israel and in the US will give you different answers because it relies on different sources. So if you want to optimize, you need to define many things because it's more sensitive, the prompts are longer, and the possibility is higher. So I call it a scope. You need to choose the scope, it's where you want to optimize. And we have like 4 different things that basically you need to decide before you started to optimize. The first one is, what do you want to optimize? It's the brand, it's specific product or service, who is the target audience. It could be customers, it could be partners. Sometimes in B2B it's like employees, how employees approach to your brand, and what is the location and the language. And when you are starting to create your geo strategy, you need to understand basically 3 things: what affects your brand, what affects your competitor because you want to dominate the market, and also what not influence. And it's very important because some sources that were highly ranked on Google, it's like meaning nothing to ChatGPT, and obviously the opposite. Let's talk about the course. So we will talk about GenAI chat trends because we want to understand, first of all, the impact, to understand how much it's already important. We will talk about and expand about user behavior. We'll talk about how GenAI actually works. As much as you know how it works, you can understand and configure how to work with, and obviously the shift that we need to do as a companies from traditional SEO to GenAI optimization. We're going to do analysis, practical strategies, how to monitor and also optimize brand presence. We'll go through AI-powered content creation tools and methods and how to manufacture it. And we will see a case studies before and after. And it will be very, very interesting. And in the end, we will help you to create geo strategy and implement it. We will show you how we think CMOs should think when they are looking on the AI area, and who is responsible in the team of implementing that. And we will expand some time about integrating geo into the marketing strategy and what is the budget that you need to save for. We'll speak about on-site and off-site, and if you remember what I said, 90% is external, so you can imagine the recommendation. And we will talk about tools for automating geo tracking and optimization. Obviously we'll show some from WhiteBox, and obviously there is a few other tools that already available today. Last slide. I think this is like 4 practical steps for geo roadmap. Without the course, you can start and think about that approach already in your company. So there is similarity between SEO and geo, and I will expand. Obviously in the goal it's kind of the same, but the process is a little bit different. So first of all is the prompt research is like equivalent to keyword research. So we need to understand what are the frequency as prompt or the prompt that we want to optimize. How can you imagine or try to understand what you can see how people ask you in Google, like in Google Console. You can do like social listening and see what are the prompts or the subjects that people ask about your brand, and also using Google Trend or UGC. The second thing, I like to divide it to the customer funnel, because in each part of the funnel, the customer will ask the different prompts. Like in the beginning, in the top of the funnel, it's unbranded prompt and comparison to competitors or something like that. And in the end, sentiment question like pros and cons, reviews, and your paying customer will ask informative questions or prompts. So you can like try to do it as they would do. And the second stage is monitor and analysis the responses. It's equivalent to SERP analysis, right? So, but we need to do it in scale, and I'll expand a little bit about that. If we, in the stage of prompt research, we decide about, 50, 10, 100, prompts, you remember that when you ask the same prompt twice, it gives you different answers. So obviously it's a statistical platform, ChatGPT. So it's very logical that it will give you different answers. But according to our research, if you're asking the same prompt up to 50 times, it will give you an average the same topics and the same sources. So you can understand manually what are the most important sources on your brand for specific prompt. And obviously, I would suggest to do it in scale and to do it like periodically, every 2 weeks or every month, just to see the changes. After you understand what are the prompts, you monitor and analyze the topic and the sources, you can create your roadmap planning, right? And I would recommend to create the roadmap according to the customer funnel first, top to the bottom prompts. Maybe you can optimize by topics, specific topics, or you can optimize by source, that it can be aligned with other marketing strategy that you already planned, but see what affect both. If you can do like a marketing, or you can do a PR that will affect both visitors from Google and also the answer from ChatGPT. It's like a bingo. And the last one is the impact. As much you will influence the most influenced sources, it will increase the influence on the ChatGPT answers. The last thing is execution, obviously. So you would need to put your content on external sources, and as much as you will do it according to the GEO compatible, and there is the methods, and we will spend time on the course, how you can take a text and increase the probability to be cited. So this is kind of the magic. Where should I publish? How should I publish? And to publish. Yeah, so why now? I think we all understand it's very, very obvious. The race has begun. An early adopter will get critical advantage. We saw it like in SEO 15 years ago, that the early adopter like got a critical advantage, and it is an opportunity that you don't get every time. It's once of many years. So thank you very much. And if there is more question, we would like to stay and to answer for you. Thank you.